Hello and welcome. So excited to see everybody here today. Raquel, thanks for joining us. If you're one of the non-video participants, we're going to get started. So we are going to want you to turn on video. All right. Even if you're finishing lunch, that's all right. Okay. So I'm going to take, here's how today is going to go. It's going to be pretty fast and there's a lot of stuff that you're going to hear, but I want you to really participate. So I'm going to send you the notes on everything. All the exercises that we're going to do, I'm going to send them afterwards. Okay, so you can take notes if you want to. If you feel better taking notes while we go, that's fine. But know that I'm going to send you the outline for the games, the exercises, everything you need to do, and how to do it as well. Because I really just want you to get the full experience of this so you know how it should feel for your classrooms as we go forward. Okay. So just a real quick, I want to give you a little bit of quick background on who Players Workshop is. And we are a improvisational theater located in Chicago, Illinois. And we have a lot of famous alumni who have come through our school. Bill Murray, Shelley Long, Robert Townsend. You've heard of most of these folks. If any of you watch Breaking Bad, you see some folks up there. And anyway, there's a ton of folks who have come through, but it's not just all about celebrities who have learned how to improvise. We have also taught thousands upon thousands people who have regular everyday jobs. That are just as exciting, from advertising execs to lawyers to teachers. And we've been doing it for 50 years. So we're really excited about the fact that we've been able to do this for so long, and we've learned a lot about how to do it. And what we wanted to share today was some of the exercises that we use in improvisation that you may be able to use in a Zoom scenario. We as a school, we're an in-person training facility, right? We expect everybody to be with us, participate on stage and everything else. And the reality is with our current situation, that wasn't possible. So we had to go virtual. And when we did, we really paid attention to how we can continue engaging our students as we're teaching them these exercises and everything. So we wanted to share these. And I'll tell you the impetus. I have a 15-year-old daughter. And as everything kind of shifted to the shutdown, I would see her in class and her iPad would be flat and the camera would be shooting towards the ceiling. And so I was like, do you not have a teacher in the class? What's going on? She's like, no, everybody does this. They just show the ceiling. So, which being a teacher, I absolutely lost it. I was like, you can't do that. That's the worst thing ever. You got to show yourself, interact. So we started coming up with some exercises that allowed people to interact a little bit, engage a little bit, and have some fun along the way. So that's what we're going to share today. That's it. It really is just about trying to help out and give back as much as we can. I am going to do 2 very quick commercials for Players Workshop later on, and it's not about making you join but just to let you know what we do and how we do it. Okay. Final thing is I'm going to go ahead and record this. So along with the notes, I'm going to send you the recording so that you're able to, if the notes aren't clear, you can go back and actually watch. So this is the big room. This is the main room. We're going to be working in here, but I'm also going to be sending you to breakout rooms. There's some exercises that should be done in a smaller group and some in a larger group. And sometimes it's nice to be able to shuttle students off to be able to work with themselves and with each other, and then bring them back and kind of report to the class what they've been working on. So we're going to do both of those things and use as much of Zoom as possible while we're doing it. So the first thing we're going to do is what I'd love to have happen is for everybody to rename yourselves. All right. And what I'd love to see is if you could rename yourself with your location, just to get an idea of where everybody is from. If you don't know how to do that, I'll share a quick thing here. If you click on your image or the 3 dots that pop up, the ellipses when they pop up when you put your cursor over the image, you'll see one of the choices is rename, and you can highlight it. Look at what a wonderful looking picture there, huh? And then you can change it and just go ahead and add your location so we can get an idea of everybody's location. All right, so go ahead and do that now. Let's go ahead and take it just a second. And let's see what kind of locations. Give me your, how about your general area? We have Palatine, Illinois. There we go. Palatine, we got Chicago. Love to see that. We've got Mexico. We've got Michigan. Fantastic. We got Chicago. We've got Puerto Vallarta. I love Puerto Vallarta. It's a famous favorite vacation. We've got Minneapolis in there as well. We've got Clemson. Fantastic. So what we've just done is the first exercise. We've shown how to use that. If students don't know how to use it, you can show them how to use that very quickly. It also gives them a way to touch base with each other. Oh, so-and-so is on my street. Or, you know, they're not far from me, or they're right by that park I always go to play ball, or we're used to. And so the idea is that this is the first chance to allow them to sort of get to know each other and find some common space with each other. So we're going to go ahead and do the next opportunity to do that. Allow students to get to know each other a little bit. So what I'm going to do is ask you to, I'm going to show you my PowerPoint again real quick here. And I'm going to go ahead and ask you to make sure you have a setting on the video. Okay, so you're going to do that by going to the stop video button. There should be a little arrow right by it. If you click on that, you'll get 3 selections from the pop-up menu. You want to go to video settings. Okay, so now once you have video settings, click on that. You're going to scroll down, and if you see the 4th choice under meetings is hide non-video participants. In fact, we have a couple of participants who are hiding right now. I'm not calling you out, I'm just saying. All right, so you want to make sure that that's clicked, okay? And as soon as you click that, you can click out of this window. All right. And now just real quick, what I want to do is I want to test that very quickly. So go ahead, everybody go ahead, hit stop video. Everybody should disappear. All right, there we go. Okay, very good. All right. So what I'm going to do is have you all stay hidden for just a moment. And we're going to play a game, which is show yourself. And I'm going to ask a question. And if you are, if that question is a yes for you, you're going to show yourself. If that question is a no for you, you're going to stay hidden. Okay. All right. So is everybody ready to play? I'll take it that's a yes because I can't see any of you. All right. So first question here, show yourself if you have a pet. If you have a pet, go ahead and click on your video thing again. There we go. All right. So a lot of pets in the, we actually, Sarah's showing us her pup there. That's fantastic. A guest appearance. All right, very good. All right, so actually that leads me to my next question. Show us if you have a dog. If you have a dog, show yourself if you have a dog. All right. Oh, okay, a lot of dog lovers, a lot of dog lovers. Very nice. I actually have a dog myself. Now, show us if you have a cat. Show us if you have a cat. Okay, a little switch here. We'll switch over. I actually have both, so I'm staying on for the entire thing, okay? All right, so now, how about show us if you like chocolate ice cream. If you're a chocolate ice cream fan, go ahead, show yourself. All right, that one was kind of easy. All right. How about showing us if you are a grade school K through 8 teacher, K through 8. Let's see the K through 8 teachers. There we go. All right. All right, how about high school? How about freshman through senior, 9 through 12? All right. Oh, we just won. Just won. Alexa, it looks like you're it. Wow. All right. Talk about special. How about higher learning? How about college or university? Any university or college professors? Fantastic. Sarah, all right. That's great. We're going to ask you to play us a song on that piano in a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I saw it in the background. All right. Very good. And how about teachers of any other level? Adult learners? Do we have any teachers of adult learners or anything along those lines? Great. Elena, Greg, Melissa, fantastic. All right, very good. Okay, and preschool. Melissa got me for pre. I did not. I did not say pre-K. Very good. Thank you for jumping in on that. I will take the correction. All right, so let's have everybody jump back on for just 1 second. All right. So again, this is a game that's also called Step to the Line. Has anybody ever played that game? So in class or in person, a fun way to play this exact same game is to literally put a piece of tape on the floor. And if you are in that group, you step to the line. So everybody starts at the outer edges of the classroom. And this is a way, again, for people to get to know themselves. And the idea being that, you know, you're going to have classrooms that have new people and you're going to have new students coming in. It's also challenging in this sort of environment. So the more ways that we can form connection, the more comfortable that people are going to get. So we want to give you as many opportunities to do that as possible. And our next exercise does just that. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to send you all into breakout rooms. There's going to be 3 people in each break, 3 or 4, depending on how we break down here. And what's going to happen is I want you to find 3 things that you all have in common. All right, 3 things that all of you have in common. Now, you have to figure out how you arrive at those things, and you're going to report back to us as well what 3 things you found that you have in common. All right. Do we have any questions about this? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate everyone into about 8 rooms. So we'll have a couple with a few more. Is everybody ready to go? If you're non-video, I am going to ask that you go ahead and participate in the breakout rooms via video. All right. All right. So I'm going to send you away, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and I'll bring you back. All right. So we've got everybody coming back now. What did we find out? Go ahead and unmute yourselves. And somebody share what did they find out that they had in common, or you can share it in the chat as well.
Sure, I'll go.
Go ahead, Sherry.
So Melissa and I both have our ears pierced. We are both the oldest child in our family, and we both have 2 children.
There we go. Nicely done.
Thanks.
Oh, it's like you're living the same lives.
Yeah.
What else? Yes, Greg.
Oh yeah. So I was paired up with Sarah from East Lansing, who's down there on the Hollywood Squares window, and we both went to graduate school at MSU. We both have a background in improv, and Doug Vogel, who's down here in the corner, was my instructor at the Players Workshop at Second City. We both have instruments or musical instruments in our background, and we both have pets, and we both have a daughter. So fun.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
Nicely done. All right. How about one more?
Okay. Well,
Okay, we were.
Raquel, how about you?
Okay, I was with Sarah from Chicago and with Ilana from Minneapolis, and we have in common glasses. We have glasses, the 3 of us. We like cats, and we miss the face-to-face teaching, being in our classrooms.
Don't we all? Don't we all? Yeah. So I wanted to share that one with you because it's a great way, especially if you've got someone who's new to the class. If it's a class that's all moving up a grade and there's someone new who's coming in, this is a nice way for them to kind of get to know some of the folks in their class and form the beginnings of relationships. But it's also a way for classes to get to know each other. I mean, they can be together for years, but if they don't hang in the same group or they don't hang in the same crowd, it can be difficult to kind of form anything. But sometimes little tiny things like, oh, you do that as well, or oh, you collect those action figures or baseball cards or whatever that is. You play that sport. I didn't know that. That's cool. I do that too. Those little connections make it a little bit more comfortable for everybody. So it's a fun game to play, especially at the beginning of the year. You know, one thing is I'm looking at everybody right now. I wanted to touch on this as well in terms of your background and your setup for Zoom. You know, when you are, so at Players Workshop, we teach improvisation both for the stage and for life. So for stage, we always think of stage picture. And a lot of times we also have a thought about what that would look like on broadcast. Some of us work in television as well. And so we think about what the picture looks like in the screen. Some best practices for teaching on Zoom have emerged, and you can find them on YouTube and on Zoom itself. But really quickly, the idea is you kind of want a background that's a little bit free of clutter or free of something that's distracting, right? So you want to find some place in your house that's a little bit bland. And the thinking is so that they'll concentrate on you, the individual, as opposed to what's around you. I don't know for anybody else, but Ilana, did I say it correctly this time? Instead of, I apologize for last time, Ilana. For me, I'm a bibliophile. I love books, and I am super loving your bookcase in the background. And so I want to go and look at every book of that. So it's things like that that make people, you know, disengage for a moment. And what we're all about today is teaching engagement and getting your students engaged. So it's something to keep in mind. The other thing you want to keep in mind is two things, actually. One is every now and then you want to look directly at the camera. It's so tempting to look at the faces in the boxes, right? I mean, because that's the person. But what happens is when you start looking at the box, if you're looking at me right now, where am I looking? I'm looking down, right? So we're not having that connection that we would have as people with eye-to-eye contact. If you can, try and remember every now and then to look directly into the camera. Think of it as a broadcast, like the news. The news reporters aren't all looking down into their, you know, into the thing and just reading it out loud. Although what's fun is if you look at old-time news broadcasts, this is exactly what they do. They read and they look up at the very end of each story. It's kind of interesting. But for us, in a classroom scenario, we want to have that eye-to-eye contact, even though you're not receiving it because you're looking into a camera. So there's a little bit of acting involved, but it is a real nice touch point. Another thing I want to give you is an equation. Who are my math teachers? You can just kind of raise your hand here. Okay, Danielle and Raquel. Okay, great. It's a trick question. I'm just going to tell you right from the beginning. When does 10 plus 10 plus 10 equal 60? When does 10 plus 10 plus 10 equal 60? This is the only math problem I've ever gotten correct, by the way. So not my strength. But I can tell you right now, here's how it works. In a book called The Brain Rules, what they found out in presentations is that when someone is paying attention to a presentation or to a class, some sort of didactic learning, they have about 10 minutes in them. At the 10-minute mark, and it's really specific to the 9.5 to 10.5 minute mark, that's when their brain starts turning off and they start wandering. So the idea is at that point, if you can do something interactive with them, i.e. one of these exercises that we're doing, that turns them back on for another 10 minutes. At the 20-minute mark, same thing happens. For some reason, our brain starts to go into grocery list mode. What else have I got to do? What have I got to, you know, what's coming up? What am I interested in? If you can do another interactive session right there at 20 minutes and at 30 minutes, 10, 10, and 10, a weird thing happens after that 30-minute mark. After 30 minutes, you get people for another half an hour. For some reason, that's when they're ready to settle in. Now, I know a lot of classes aren't an hour in length, but a lot of them go 45 to 50 minutes. So if you can get them going at about the 10-minute mark, the 20-minute mark, and then the half an hour mark, generally you'll have them for the rest of the class. So it's a little equation, and I'll include that in the notes as well. But it's again, it's a best practice if you can keep it in mind. You know, it's a great way to kind of get them to keep on interacting, and that can be anything from, you know, asking questions of the class, whatever it is. Everybody get up and shake it out a little bit, use their bodies. whatever you choose to use, okay? Great, so that's just a quick little math thing there. So I want to move to our next game, and I'm going to need 8 volunteers. Can I get, tell you what, 3 or 4 volunteers, 3 or 4 volunteers. Great. Sherry, Danielle, I see your hands. How about a couple more? Melissa, I see yours. And Laura, perfect. If everybody other than Melissa, Danielle, Sherry, and Laura can go ahead and video off, stop video. And for us 4, what I'm going to do is for Danielle, Sherry, Laura, and Melissa, Rosa and Alexa, if I can have you stop video for a second, and you guys will just watch this. You're all going to get a chance to play it in a second. Go ahead and rename yourself, and I'll be 1. Danielle, you'll be 2. Melissa, you'll be 3. Sherry, you'll be 4, and Laura, you'll be 5. All right. So just go ahead and rename yourself with your number now. All right, so now we're doing that real fast. Great. Excellent. Okay. I love how the math
Melissa,
teacher
in the
spelled
top,
out.
in the top of your picture on the right corner, you'll see the 3 little dots, and that's, it still doesn't?
And you're muted.
muted
here,
now.
too.
I'm on a Chromebook. I don't have the 3 little dots on my picture.
Do you have a more button or something that gives you the sort of the rest of the icons? I can actually rename you myself.
You could go ahead, rename me. I give you the power.
I will go ahead and rename you. But
Yeah.
you should have within your icons, there should be a little button that allows you to see more icons, or at least some way. If you run your cursor over your picture, does anything pop up?
Just a pin. I can just pin the picture. That's
You can
all it
pin the
shows up.
picture. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So that's something to find out because everybody uses different technology. There's a limit to what I know, but if you have to work with so many different technologies, I've actually had to run tech support. I'm sure all of you have had to do the same thing. That's our new job as teachers. Oh, here we go. Ilana has if you go to participant panel on her name, it should be able to rename it. Oh yeah, on the participant panel as well. That's for me, the host, I think. And you may be able to do it as well. If you go to participants and click on your name, it may have a drop down there. So as we're going, what we're going to do right now is a little something we like to call word ball. And what's going to happen is I have a ball right here, and I'm going to throw it to number 2. I'm going to throw it to Danielle, right? Is that right?
Yep.
And Danielle is going to catch the word ball, and then she is going to throw it to number 3. Now, when I throw it, I'm going to say a word, okay? I'm going to say any word that pops into mind. Danielle, when you catch it, you're going to catch it and say the word I said, and then throw it saying an entirely different word. Whatever word pops into your mind, there are no wrong words, except for swear words. Let's go ahead and keep it clean. Keep it a G show. Let's do that, all right? So I'm going to throw you the ball. I'm going to say a word. You're going to throw it, and then we're going to continue throwing it to the next number. Number 5, Laura. Was that Laura? Was that correct?
Yes.
Laura, you're going to go ahead and throw it back to me, okay? And then I'm going to catch it. We'll go around a couple of times.
Okay.
Everybody got it? Fantastic. All right, I'm going to start it off with fire.
A fire cheese.
Bananas.
Okay, hold on just a second. All right, so you want to say the word that came before when you catch,
Okay.
and then a different word as you throw. All right, so I'll start it off again. Everybody ready? All right, light bulb.
Light bulb. Tangerine.
Tangerine. Umbrellas.
Umbrellas, unicorn.
Light bulb, tangerine,
You
umbrellas.
have to do the one before you. Just
Just the one before?
Yeah,
Okay, I was
but
freaking out. I
impressive.
thought I had to say all of them. Okay, the last one was unicorn, right?
Yep.
Okay, unicorn, pizza.
All right, a pizza, flag.
Flag. Frog.
Frog. Table.
Table, window.
Window, computer.
computer, sash. Let's try and go a little faster now.
Sash, picture.
Picture, plant.
Plant. Slide.
Slide, pencil.
Pencil, eraser.
Eraser, Godzilla.
Godzilla, kitty cat.
Kitty cat, scissors.
Scissors, paper.
Paper. Fantastic. Very well done. Give yourselves a round of applause. This is how we applaud in Zoom land, right? Very nicely done. All right, so let me have everybody else come on board. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I'm going to go ahead and do that again. I'm going to send you all to breakout rooms, and you're all going to play that game for just a couple of minutes. All right. Remember to rename yourselves in an order so you understand who's throwing to who. Okay. You can make that determination. Whoever is the person with the first name at the beginning of the alphabet can be the first person and go on from there. Everybody understand? And I'm going to go ahead and send you all out. All right, fantastic. So real quickly, everybody go ahead and unmute. How was that for everybody?
So much fun.
Good.
A lot of fun?
Yeah, we liked it.
Yeah, it was fun, but it was difficult sometimes coming up with words.
Yeah.
I started looking around my room to see what I could name.
So,
I remember we used to do like an in-person one similar to that with like multiplication facts where they'd like throw it, and I was like, oh, this could totally be like an actual learning one. So that's just a fun one.
it absolutely could be. There's a couple of these that you can use. In fact, the next one that we're going to do is a great one for English class. For those of you who teach English, it's a great way for the next one that we're going to do. It's a great way to walk through a story, an assignment, something along those lines. So, Diana, you brought up the idea that sometimes it was a little difficult to come up with a word, right?
Yes.
So that's common. And what that is we, all of us humans, get a little bit nervous when we're in the moment. We think we have to have a plan and we have to have something in the back of our head that we're going to be able to use. Now, what we're trying to do is get you to a point where you just feel comfortable enough to acknowledge something will come. And if it doesn't come fast, to not panic about that, not to get upset about that. Now, for kids, it can get a little bit like, I'm freezing, I can't, the fight, flight, or freeze. They may start freezing. That's okay. Allow them to, encourage them to go ahead and look. Can you spot something that you might want to say? Go ahead and give them some encouragement in that scenario. But what we're really trying to do is just have them play. Because once we get into that play mindset, all of a sudden, everything is very much free. We have an abundance that comes to us. When there's not that pressure of having to perform, when we think of it as play, our mind is triggered into a different direction. And so when we're in that space, we're open to suggestion. Our vision is much clearer and much broader. We're able to encompass a much larger sort of range of possibilities. And there is some science behind it as well in terms of cortisol, focusing your vision and making it very narrow so that you can only see one possible solution. And what happens in a play mindset is that we release those endorphins, which allows us a much broader vision, and it allows us to take in a lot more and process a lot more mentally as well. And so by doing that, we get into a much more open state. And that's what we're trying to get these kids into, and trying to get students, adult learners as well, as we teach improv. We're trying to get them into that open state of play. Our belief is that when you're in a state of play, you're much more able to do a lot of things. You're sort of, you're in a prepared state of readiness. If you're playing a game, and it's an easy sort of analogy, is if you're playing a game and you're waiting for the ball, you don't know which way it's going to go, your knees are kind of bent a little bit, you're in a position that you could go either way. Well, mentally, that's where we want to get our students. And if you can get your students in that same place, they'll be a little bit more interactive. They'll be less engaged in their head and more engaged externally with what's going on in class. And hopefully that's where we can get them. So Now I want to show you another one. It's so I'm keeping track of the time. I want to make sure that we're judicious with the amount of time, but I do want to allow some time for Q&A at the end as well. So this next game is called Story Spine. And this is an exercise that you can utilize with your entire class. And it's a lot of fun. And what it is basically is you're creating a fun story together using 9 steps. And I'm going to go ahead and give you those steps. And I'm going to give you everything. So you'll have all of this as I send it to you, okay? But the idea here with Story Spine is that you're going to have people tell a story. They're going to take each one of these steps and complete the sentence. And they can complete it any way they want. And when they complete that sentence, it's the next person's turn. And they'll start their sentence. And at the end, what you're trying to do is tell a cohesive story, or at least something that kind of hangs together. But it's also super fun when it doesn't. It's a great exercise in chaos and anarchy, which I'm sure you also experience on a regular basis. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, can I get 4 volunteers? 4 volunteers who didn't volunteer before. Go ahead and raise your hand. And we'll have everybody else stop video. So 4 volunteers, Raina, Raquel. Did I say that right, Raina? Is it? Yeah, good. Okay,
Yeah,
Raquel.
Raina.
I need 2 more. 2 more volunteers.
Come
2 more
on,
volunteers,
Lexi.
raise your hand. All right, I'm gonna start picking. There we go. You still have a 1, so I don't remember your name. Was it Alexis?
Mhm.
Alexa.
Alexa. I'm impressed myself. All right, can I get 1 more? 1 more.
Sarah wants to, with no H.
Sarah's staying on. Fantastic. All right. So, Alexa, I have to tell you that my Alexa just went off as I said your name.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, fantastic. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go around. So, Alexa, you are going to be 2.
Okay.
Raina, you were going to be 3.
Okay.
Sarah, you're going to be 4. Raquel, you're going to be 5. Okay? And then we'll come back to me, but we'll continue in that order, all right? So we're going to continue in that order and finish the story. So I'll rename myself 1 here. Fantastic. All right, so actually I shouldn't have put myself as 1. But that's all right. So I'm going to start the story, and if you look in the chat, you'll see the 9 steps that we're going to take, okay? The 9 thing, it's once upon a time. The next sentence will start with every day. The next sentence, but one day. The next 3 sentences, because of that, fill in the blank. Because of that, fill in the blank. Because of that, fill in the blank. Until finally, and ever since then, fill in the blank. The moral of this story is fill in the blank. Okay, everybody got it? All right, if we skid out somewhere along the way, we'll pick it back up. Don't worry about it. So I'm going to start it off. Once upon a time, there was a bucket seller who lived near a dam. And he was always trying to sell buckets, but did not have any luck.
So then I'm next.
You're next. So you start
Okay.
with every day.
Every day he would continue to keep selling these buckets, but nothing ever proved to be true.
One day he sold a bucket and it was magically filled with gold.
Because of that, he was rich and he was unsure what to do with his money.
Because of that, he got a lot of fake friends.
Because of that, he ended up losing all of his money because they kept on wanting to spend it for him.
Until finally he was poor and had to be on the streets begging just for dimes.
And ever since then, he doesn't have any friends.
The moral of the story is use your money wisely.
Excellent. Nicely done. All right, everybody come back in. Very nicely done. We'll give you the Zoom clap there. Very nicely done. Jazz hands. All right. So very well done. Thank you for jumping in and doing that. It's that easy. All right. And what I want to do is go ahead and send you to some breakout rooms again and have you do this exact thing. All right. Choose the order and go through the story spine and see if you can make a cohesive story. If not, that's all right. Let's see here. Let's make this.
We still see the chat when we break out?
You should still be able to see the chat.
Okay.
Let's see here. All right, so I'm going to assign a lot more. Let's not do that many. That's a lot. All right, a lot more people per room. So you should have enough people to go through this. Try and go through it twice. All right. So if anybody has any trouble, let me know. And good luck.
Popcorn and new Cheetos Flamin' Hot Popcorn. Grab a bag at your nearest convenience store. It's a Cheetos thing.
There we go.
Let's go. Make no excuses now. I'm talking here and now. I'm talking here and now. Let's go. Your time is running out. I'm talking here and now. I'm talking here and now. It's not about what you
So were you guys in the same room? How did that go? Pretty well? Was your story entertaining?
Yeah, it went well.
Danielle, I see you smiling. Rosa's laughing. Okay, good. All right, I think we've got most folks back here. Sherry's got a team now. All right, I'm going to give it just a couple more seconds. All right. All right. So how was that? How were those stories? Was that pretty fun? Share a story or two with me. How about, let's see. Diana, how about your story?
Well, I was paired up with Carmen, and our first story was a disco unicorn who loved to listen to Diana Ross until one day he discovered Michael Jackson. And he became famous. Oh, he wasn't known as disco uniform anymore. Unicorn. He was moonwalk unicorn.
Fantastic.
And he got a letter from Michael Jackson to please stop using his music.
If I've heard that story once, I've heard it 1,000 times. That's fantastic. So in a quick debrief for that, you can have the kids or your students share the stories back and get an idea of kind of where they went with stuff. That's a great story, Diana. Carmen, you guys did a great job. That's so fun. It's imaginative. You can tell you had some fun with it. Was anybody stumped, or did anybody feel any pressure that I got to come up with something, or it's my turn next? So I'm looking around, I'm seeing some no's. Any yeses? Raise your hand if you had a little bit of an issue. Not so much? Or Raquel, a little bit?
I mean, sometimes I get freeze a little bit because it has to have the story like a meaning in some way. I mean, it's fun, but I don't know, maybe because I was keeping in my mind that I'm teaching a second language, and then maybe trying, that was in my head. I mean, I was trying to think at the same time that I was trying to keep up with the story, and I was like, okay, how can I do this in my class? And that made just a lot of bit of noise.
Yeah. No, that's tough. That's tough when that other voice is in our head, whether it's an editor or it's a director who's trying to figure out, or an engineer. That's the other voice I get a lot, is the engineer. How can I recreate this, or how can I use this, or how can I? So totally understandable.
Um,
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So you as the teacher in this meet, are you in a group or are you able to pop into other groups and like listen to other people's stories?
You are. You're able to pop in as the host of the meeting. You're able to pop into every breakout room.
Okay. Thanks.
So yeah, absolutely. And that's a great idea. If you find a room that's stuck, I tend to let adults go ahead and just play because I figure you'll figure it out. But if you feel the need, you can hop into that room and give them a little bit more information as well. Give them a little side coaching. That's all great and appreciated. Yeah, I think that, yeah, so now a lot of this is focused on Zoom. I believe that, I don't have the number right in front of me. I believe it's something like 75% of classrooms moved to Zoom. So it's by far and away the largest utilization of virtual classrooms. So Microsoft Teams, Google Meet. I have a note here that Google Meet is introducing breakout rooms specifically for virtual classrooms too. It says from 2, so there's a couple of different 2s here, but so you'll be able to use that breakout functionality. But because so many people use Zoom, we've concentrated on Zoom for this and going forward with a lot of this stuff. But a lot of the exercises can be utilized no matter the platform, if you get a little creative with how you might utilize it. Class sizes typically are a little bit, are around this size or a little bit less. So it's also something you can do with a full class. We've had groups of 60 where it's not something that you can do with the entire class, but it is something that you can play with a larger group, right? As soon as you send them out to breakouts. So I want to give you 2 other things before we go today, and then have a little time for a Q&A at the end. Does that work for everybody? Give a little time for that. Fantastic. And a little discussion if you're open for it. I'd love to do what we call 10-second scenes. And so the way that this is played, it's very simple, is I'm going to name a location or a where. In improvisation, we play with who, what, and where. And that gives us all the information we need in order to form a scene on stage for an audience and hopefully entertain them. And a lot of times we do. But if we get those 3 pieces of information, we're able to utilize them in order to inform what that scene might be about. A lot of folks think that that's also the information you need for kind of getting into a sense of yourself as well. If you can figure out your who you are, where you are, and what you want to do, those are 3 pretty key building blocks for your own progression. So we're going to start with a where, and I'm going to shout out a where. And what I want you to do, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to strike a pose of something that would occur in that where. All right? So, and then you're going to freeze. You're going to freeze as soon as I give you the where. Is everybody ready? All right, so I'm going to give you the first one. It's haunted house. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, very good. So keep your position. Keep your position. Don't lose your position. So as the teacher, or you can assign this to somebody else, go around and see if you can get them. If you get it right. Danielle, you're a scared a haunted house viewer. You're going through the haunted house, right? Sarah, you're afraid as well. Carmen, you're afraid as well. Priscilla, yes. Sherry, we've got a lot of people who are going through. Laura, are you actually scaring somebody? You're one of the exhibits, right? Very nicely done. Very good. Ale, are you? I'm not sure what this is exactly, or if you're frozen on the screen. I can't tell. All right, and so let's see here. Rosa, you're going through as well. All right, good job, you guys. Very nicely done. So now, as a teacher, you don't want to strike down somebody. No, that's wrong. Okay, so what we try and do is, oh, that was good. Good guess. Try again. Right? So what that does is that encourages the engagement, encourages participation, and yet it doesn't, make them feel bad about not getting something correct. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to send you to the room. And what I want you to do is cycle who's guessing the different positions. And I'll post in the chat. Can you see the chat on the side here? When you go into the breakouts, you can, right? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to post in the chat different room suggestions that you can use, or pick your own. Do whatever you want to do. All right, you can use them or not, but you'll have them, and that way, if you get stuck, you can use them. All right, so last one I'm going to give you, and I'll give you 10 seconds, and that is Under the Sea. Under the Sea. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, these are great. These are very, I got a couple of swimmers, right? I've got some swimmers. I've got some fish. I've got a seahorse. Is this a seahorse? This is not, no, it's not a seahorse. I thought for sure, I thought I got that. All right, and how about, we've got a couple of swimmers, right? A couple of people doing that, a couple of fish, are these fish as well? And a couple of divers diving in. All right, nicely done. Go ahead and you can drop your poses, very good. All right, so great job. And so you get the idea of how this is done. If somebody doesn't get your position, go ahead, shake them off and let them know that they're not correct. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go back into some rooms. And let's see. There we go. All right, and I'll put up the list as well. All right. So, how was that? Was anybody especially good at guessing? No, no one was especially good at guessing. Good. Glad to hear that, because that would be weird. If you were really good at it, you'd have a secret power. All right. So it's 2:21, and I want to make sure that I give us some time for a little Q&A at the end. So I'm going to give you one more. I'm going to give you a couple more in the document that I send over that explains the exercises, explains how to play, and gives you all the rules and instructions, everything. But I want to do one more just because it gets people kind of moving a little bit. And I feel like a big part of the virtual environment is that we don't move at all. Even moving from class to class increases blood flow, increases oxygen to the brain. It just gets you moving a little bit, right? And I feel like there's very little movement in virtual. So I want to teach us one quick game that is, I need one volunteer who is going to go out of the room, and what's going to happen is they're going to come back into the room, and they're going to have to guess who is leading the movement out of everybody on the class. All right. So I need one person to volunteer. Sherry. All right. I'm going to send you out of the room. I'm going to send you into the waiting room for just a minute. I promise. And the rest of us are going to conspire. Basically, we're going to conspire. All right. So we're going to put you out there. All right. There she is. Okay. So now for the rest of us, very quickly, I want everybody to go ahead and mirror my movements. Okay. See how it looks like everybody's pretty much doing the same thing, slightly different timing, right? Okay, you can stop. So I need one person who is going to lead us in movements, and Sherry is going to have to guess who that person is. Okay, so who's going to lead us in those movements? Who can do a couple of just as easy and simple as what we were doing? Looking for a volunteer before I go to voluntold. All right, Sarah, fantastic. All right, so Sarah is going to lead us. Sarah, do that for just one quick second. Give us an idea of you moving. Great. All right, so now we get the idea. My suggestion to everybody is to go ahead and pin Sarah. If you go over and you put your cursor over her image, one of the options in the drop-down menu is pin video. And what happens is Sarah will be forefront in front of you so that you don't have to look for her box. She'll just be the big screen in front of you. Does that make sense? All right, I'm going to go ahead and assume that that makes sense for everybody. All right, I'm going to let Sherry back in. And as soon as I do, I'm going to actually, Sarah, I'm going to have you start moving, and then I'm going to let Sherry in. Okay, so go ahead and start moving. Everybody start copying.
Am I pressing pin video also, or not doing that?
You don't really have to because you're doing the movement. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Everybody follow Sarah. Go ahead and begin your movement. All right, keep going. All right, Sherry, thank you for joining us. You can unmute. And what's going to happen, Sherry, is you're going to try and find who the leader is. All right, so you can shout out a guess. I'm going to give you 3 guesses. So see if you can figure it out.
Oh, wait, my thing just got smaller. Did we just lose people?
I hopped off, so you can have a clear
Oh,
view.
okay. You threw me. Okay.
Who do you think the leader is?
Laura from Mexico.
That is incorrect. Good guess. Laura is doing a great job at this. So it's an easy one to guess, but that is incorrect. Go ahead, make another guess.
I mean, I'm messing up your name again. Ilana?
That is incorrect as well. Ilana is not correct. You have 1 choice left, but they're good. Everyone is doing such a good
They're
job.
really good.
This is like the most difficult one I've seen. All right, last guess.
Raquel, Mexico.
Raquel, Mexico is doing a great job, but she's not our leader. Who's our leader, everybody?
Sarah.
It's Sarah.
Sarah.
Wait, which Sarah? Where's Sarah? Where? Oh my gosh. Okay. I swear, before I even did my first guess, I thought it was you, but then I was watching. I'm like, nope, not her. Ah, I could have got it right the first time.
You should have first guess is always the best one.
Always supposed to go. Choose C and go with your gut.
That's right. All right, excellent job.
Nice
Very
job,
nicely done.
everybody.
That's a fun game to play. And again, you want to encourage the guesses, even if they're wrong. But it's super difficult as well. Although some people get it right away, which is freaky. And you can have a lot of fun with that as well. But some people just see it. I mean, they walk in and they go, "Oh, it's Sarah." And you have no idea how, but they have that vision. There's another fun moving one that's called Mole Bop that I will, again, I'll send that along, but it's a fun one where everybody is dancing. And as the leader, whoever the leader is trying to copy their dance move. As soon as they copy that dance move, that person has to fade off for 5 seconds. And if they can get everybody, they win. All right. So it's a fun way to get them to move. It's a fun way to do it at the very beginning of class to get people, again, energized as they're coming into your classroom. So we've only got a few minutes left, but I wanted to open up and allow everybody to go ahead, unmute, and just give a little bit of feedback, some thoughts about what you were experiencing today, and any thoughts or anything that we can help to make this better. Was this what you were looking for today, or did this give you a couple of things you could use in class?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, this was definitely very helpful for implementing in my class.
That's great. That's great to hear. Now, a question for me: do you are you guys as teachers, are you given anything or any sort of direction on virtual environments, on how to manage them and how to do anything? No, Danielle's giving me a big head shake. No, I'm seeing no's.
Not yet, but we're supposed to have some sort of training
Oh, you are? Okay.
when it gets closer to the start date.
And by a show of hands, how many people do use Zoom? How many Zoomers are in the room? Okay, for your classroom. So I'd say that was actually closer to 60% than 75 or 80%. So that's good. What for those of you who don't use Zoom, what are some of the other things that you use?
Google Meet.
We do
That's
Google
what our
Meet.
district uses.
Google Meet. Okay,
Flipgrid.
Yeah, we
that's the
use-
first time I've heard that.
And I'm supposed to start using Cisco WebEx.
Wow. And is that, who said that? I didn't see who
I
said
did,
that.
Yeah.
Oh, Danielle. And Danielle, where are you?
South Carolina.
And is that being prescribed by the school district or from the
I
school?
believe so, yes. We have a meeting tomorrow and I should know a little bit more about it.
Wow, that's
But
great.
in the spring, I used a combination of Google Meet and Zoom.
Yeah. That's interesting that they're going full-on WebEx, which is industrial enterprise strength, right? That's the, full Magilla. You're getting the full Monty on that one. Great. What else would be useful in a workshop like this? Is there anything else that would be useful that we could try and offer some other teachers?
I did a very similar workshop recently, and one of the other activities they did that I thought would be a good warm up. I didn't make it up. They did it in the thing, just to get the kids maybe the first day or so of of your Zoom meeting, to get them comfortable with being silly. Okay, if I say in, everyone has to get as close as you can, and then if I say out, everyone has to they're just kind of having the experience being silly, playing around,
That's
And
great.
then they introduce some of the things you did, by teaching the kids how to turn off their video. The very first one was the walk the line or whatever that one was called.
Yep, step to the
Just
line.
had experience with turning video off, turning it on. So they're kind of learning the Zoom tricks, but also playing a game while they're learning them. So.
Exactly. And that's such a key thing, is to make it a little bit entertaining while they're learning that lesson, because they're navigating the software as well, which the expectation is that they just know how to use everything, and they do, but it is something that they're trying to do, and especially for the younger kids, it's obviously a little bit more challenging. Danielle, yeah, that's a great idea. She asks, could you offer maybe some refresher sessions later in the school year? Yes, I think we could do something like that. I think there's actually a whole nother stack of exercises that we sort of put to the side for this. So we're going to figure out how to utilize them as well. And so as we keep on figuring out how this works, Ilana, thanks for joining us. As we figure out how this works out, we're going to keep on adding things, and maybe what we'll try and do, obviously we've got your emails now, we'll try and keep a catalog going that you can tap into as a resource, because we'd love to be able to support you guys and help you in everything that you do, because you're helping so many kids and so many students. So that's something that we can do to support you. Last question, Rosa Maria is asking, what's better, Zoom or Google Meet? I've heard Zoom is better. In my experience with Google Meet, it isn't as intuitive, but I'll let you guys jump in. For those of you who use Google Meet and Zoom, what are your thoughts?
Zoom does have more things available to them, except the rumor is that this August, now I guess, Google Meet is supposed to be adding on a whole bunch of the Zoom types of features so that they won't be so much lesser.
Yeah, right.
Google Meet's a little bit more kid friendly in terms of getting into the session, I think. So you don't have to send them an email with a link. You do, but it's just a little bit easier for younger kids to figure out how to start using, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's interesting. And I wonder if they'll be able to mirror that on Zoom, make it a little bit easier as well for classroom use, especially for younger students. And then I have, is there a way to access breakout rooms to observe as the facilitator? Yes. As the host, you have that ability to do that. You can bop into a room, you can join a room, and if you video off, you can just kind of hang in the background, or if you want your presence known, you can do that as well. So yeah, Zoom offers the ability to do that. And we're by no means experts on Zoom, but we've been playing with it for a bit now. So we're trying to get, I think what's great is that there are a lot of people sharing a lot of great information on YouTube as well, in terms of the different usages of Zoom and the different tips and tricks. So, as we find them, we'll try and share them out. Maybe we'll try and do, well, you all signed up for the newsletter as well. So maybe we'll try and do something through the newsletter along those lines. So we're going to keep on doing it and figure out a good way to communicate with everybody as well. Yeah, Sherry?
Would you be able to share your screen to show us on like the leader's end what it looks like when you're scheduling the breakout rooms? Or won't that work?
That is an excellent question. I think I can. So if I share my desktop, see, but I don't see, what's funny is I don't see my desktop. So it doesn't, but here, you know what I can do real fast is, here, let me, so you all saw my desktop a moment ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so. This, okay, so let me do this real fast. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
And can you see the breakout rooms box, the window on top? No, that's just for me. Okay. So what it does is it creates this little breakout room box. You know what I can do?
Can you take a screenshot, Jeff?
That's exactly what I'm doing here. Good call. All right, so let's see if I can. All right, this is freaky because I have a screenshot up in front of the actual window, so I'm not sure what I'm hitting. Freaking out. All right, so let me go back to this real fast.
Welcome to our world.
Right? All right, so
I'm
now.
sure second graders could tell us how to do this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually, you just blah, blah, blah.
So if I show that. Okay, so now, do you see that screenshot on top?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you get a thing that looks like this, which is breakout rooms. And so when you want to send them to breakout rooms, you hit open all rooms. You can add a room if you want to increase the amount of rooms. And then if you want to recreate, if you want to, when I was shuffling all of you to different rooms, basically I would hit recreate, and it gives you a box that gives you the information of how many people you want in a room and how many rooms you want to create. If you go to options, it'll also allow you a timer. So I was just keeping an eye on the clock, but you can actually have a timer that appears in the breakout room that counts down and allows people to know how much time is left.
Thank you. That's huge.
Yeah, no, it's a great device for that. So now, this is interesting because now I can't get out of that. Interesting. Okay. All right. So, well, I want to thank everybody for, we ran a little bit late here, but I want to thank everybody for being a part of this and taking part in it. I hope it was helpful. And well, like I say, we'll figure out a way to really keep some information flowing. And if we come up with anything else or other games or ideas, we'll push them on out, and we'll see about doing a refresher session down the road a little bit. I think that's a great idea, maybe during winter break or something. Or Danielle, were you thinking sooner than that?
Winter break is great.
Winter break, yeah. Maybe that's an idea, is to redo this around then. And then the other thing is that if you're interested at all in improvisation as a technique, as a way to become a better performer, you all perform on a daily basis. You're up in front of an audience, and it's a great communication tool. Look us up. Go ahead and check us out online at playersworkshoponline.com, and check out the different classes. We have a new class. They're only 4 weeks long. They meet once a week, and it's starting on August 19th. Does that sound right, Beth?
For the teacher one, or?
No, for the regular classes.
August 19th for Taste of Improv.
Oh, that's Taste of Improv. Okay, so if you want a straight up Taste of Improv, we're doing another free class that is more about how we utilize improvisation and how we learn and teach improvisation. So this is much more geared towards how you run a virtual classroom, how you can engage in a virtual classroom. That is going to be all about what we do on a regular basis in the classes that we teach. So yeah, feel free to keep an eye on the website and come and join us. If you signed up for the newsletter, then we'll be sending something out. If you didn't, sign up and we'll send out some information about all of these free classes. I see if you have a friend who couldn't make it today, there's another session next week. No, they can't come. No, if they couldn't make it today, no, I'm just kidding. Of course, bring them next week. Have them come by next week, or feel free to share the stuff that we send out. If they can't make a class, you can share the recording and the instructions. We're giving it to you. You do it if you want to share them. Feel free. If you want us to help out your school district or your school, and you want us to come in and do a special training, if you think that's worthwhile, give us a call. We'll figure something out. Okay, we'll make that able to happen. Okay, and you can sign up for the newsletter at the website playersworkshoponline.com. Scroll down to the bottom. I believe it has the newsletter subscriber button there. Okay. If you have any questions, I sent you an email. Send me an email back. Feel free to send me an email, and I'll try and answer everything that I get. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. It was fun.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See you. Thank you.
Our pleasure.